reason that I want to talk about protesters is because I've been having this conversation with y'all for a while now and breaking down. Thank you, Annie Marie. I'm gonna read that super chat shortly. I've been having this conversation and breaking this down for a while now, as far as Mahmoud Khalil? Mahmoud Khalil is an immigrant from overseas that then got caught up trying to protest at the Columbia protest last year, and now he is being held accountable. He is not on a student visa. He is on a green card. He is married to somebody inside of the United States of America who's also allegedly pregnant. But more importantly, what people don't realize is that just because you're a green card holder does not mean that you're an American citizen. You are not a part of the naturalization process. You have to go through the process. You can be a green card holder, but it does not mean that you are an American citizen. You have to go through the naturalization process. That is one of the things that people don't understand, that we had to correct them on yesterday. Because if you are not familiar with, or if you don't understand what's going on here in the United States of America, if you don't understand the laws, then you can be out there protesting, you can be doing something before you really understand things, and then that'll get your green card revoked, and then you'll be getting deported and you being held at Guantanamo Bay. Anyways, a bunch of protesters stormed Trump Tower, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday. And I believe there was over 90 something arrests or something like that. Anyways, make sure you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. This is what happened over in New York City, Trump Towers yesterday, and how things played out.
You've been watching it happen live right there here in New York City, and Trump Tower protesters taking to the lobby of that tower. They're calling for the release of Mahmoud Khalil, the anti-Israel activist facing deportation under the Trump administration. All right, it continues as we take over coverage here on the Fox News channel. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Hey, John.
Sandra, good to have you back again. I'm John Roberts in Washington, and this is America Reports. Our senior correspondent, Eric Shawn, is at Trump Tower. This group that's engaged in this protest in the basement lobby of Trump Tower there, Eric, is a group that we're very familiar with. We've seen them protest in Grand Central.
Do you see how patient the police officers are? They're very careful. They're following orders. They're very patient, and they're just dealing with the people. Let me see that. You stormed a building that you're not supposed to be in, and now you're protesting. And so that, at the very least, is trespassing, probably causing a disturbance. I think that these people should get because this is not a public protest. This is not something that you can get a permit for. None of that. You're running into a building. You're basically causing an insurrection. You think that it's cute. You think that this is going to play well. And now you're in somebody's space and somebody's home in a place that you're not supposed to be in. And the police officers are being very, very patient.
Station before, we've seen them occupy the Cannon Building on the House side here in Washington, D.C. These are leftist Jews, including one, according to the Associated Press, actress Deborah Winger, from An Officer and a Gentleman. It would seem that these are American Jews who lean very far left, who find common cause with Palestinians, who have decided to occupy Trump Tower today.
John, the protesters have taken their demonstration and their anger directly to the heart of the Trump organization and to President Trump's home and to his office here at Trump Tower. I'm outside just in the corner of 57th and 5th, where some of the demonstrators here are now beginning to disperse. We have seen, as I'll show you down the street, the entrance to Trump Tower, at least a dozen or so arrests so far of the protesters who came into that pink lobby, and you can see an officer right now escorting someone who has zip ties, handcuffs behind her back. They have the zip ties out. They are taking them to a bus, which is around the corner for processing, where they are being arrested. Those are the demonstrators, part of this group, who refuse to leave Trump Tower. They sat down on the pink marbled floor. They chanted. They were cheering. They were talking about freeing Palestine, no walls in Mexico or in the Middle East. And of course, they were also chanting for and supporting Mahmoud Khalil, the leader of the Columbia University protests, who the Trump administration is seeking to deport. The Trump administration says that he is a threat to national security, adverse to U.S. foreign policy, that under Secretary of State Marco Rubio's legal power, he is able to deport him just by fiat, basically by that. But of course, a federal judge has delayed the deportation at least until sometime next week for arguments back in court next Monday. Meanwhile,
why don't they uncover their mouths when they go into these protests? When they're trying to make a name for themselves and they're trying to create visibility for themselves, why don't these people uncover their mouths? Why don't they remove their bandanas, remove their bonnets, remove their face masks? How come they just don't want to go full throttle and just jump right into it? You know, the way that these people are protesting on behalf of this guy that is the leader of the protests that caused all of this disruption and the graduations to be canceled over at Columbia University last year. The only thing that I could remember in recent memory that we had this level of protest for was maybe George Floyd. Now, I don't think that you can compare it to George Floyd, the whole Black Lives Matters thing, which they're removing the Black Lives Matters painting and all of that, murals and stuff like that. All of that will be gone away and it'll be wiped away shortly. However, I haven't seen this level of visibility for people that are willing to get arrested since Black Lives Matters. Now, the difference is that we got a different president inside of the United States now. Biden was an enabler. Trump is a disabler. Biden was an enabler. Trump is a disabler. Trump don't believe that you're going to come in here and break the law and tear up and cause this protest and all of these issues, and you're not going to pay the consequences. You're going to pay the maximum consequence. And it's funny because I seen somebody in the chat, they said, why don't people bothering Trump? They're not bothering Trump. Trump is in D.C. or he in Mar-a-Lago. He don't even care about New York City. I'm not even sure that Trump cares about going to New York. Has Trump even remotely sent an envoy or went to New York City since he became president of the United States of America? If y'all didn't flip red and y'all still being blue and y'all still supporting this nonsense, Trump ain't tripping off of y'all. Trump be golfing. Kai Trump, his granddaughter is out there creating vlogs with Roy McElroy and all of this stuff. He not tripping off of y'all. Trump is just going to deport you. He's going to put the people in place, and you think that you exerting this energy is going to, drum up some kind of visibility, and that's going to change things that happen with the United States of America. It's not. It's not. And you know what else? As we look at these protests, you know what else I'll be wondering? Do y'all have jobs? Do y'all have jobs? How do people spend so much time and exert so much energy when everybody's supposedly broke? Everybody is living paycheck to paycheck. People is talking about taxes is high. Y'all was worried about eggs just a little bit ago. Thank you. I appreciate you, C. Will. Do y'all have jobs or what's going on? Let's get back over to the protests.
That has not stopped, that has only fueled and ignited these protesters in their anger as you see more being walked out, some with shirts that say Jews for Peace. That is the group that has sponsored this protest. You see people? The more in their T-shirts, others are just dressed in civilian outfit. And I asked some of them, why do they come here? And they, of course, said that this is aimed directly at President Trump, who they believe is illegally prosecuting Khalil and has been illegally, in their view, on the side of Israel, which, of course,
somebody said, Anton, this is NYC. People work all types of hours. Some have the night shift and some work during the day. Okay, so Keisha, let's assume that that's correct. Okay. I've worked midnights for years. When you work midnights and you get off, you be tired. You telling me that I'm going to get off of work, working my 8, 10, 12-hour shift, and then I'm going to go out there and protest and Trump Tower and get arrested? And think about this. If you get arrested, then that means that you probably can't go to work tomorrow. And if you get arrested over the weekend, I know here in Detroit, if you get arrested over the weekend, you don't see a judge till Monday, which means you got to spend your whole weekend locked up behind bars with a T-shirt on and waiting to see a judge so that you can ultimately try to get bond out. Nope, not going to happen. And so as you see right here, they're just slowly, police officers are standing in line. They got their zip ties. They just arresting them one by one, and they taking them down to the precinct.
7th Street, not to be arrested. They were chanting, and the police obviously have a protocol for this. As you can see, one of the protesters is now sitting down on the street. This technically and legally can be considered resisting arrest. When you resist arrest, you don't have to fight back against a police officer. You don't have to punch them. This protester appears to have been sitting down right here on 5th Avenue in front of Trump Tower. And let's just wait and see. They'll probably pick that protester up. And that protester, in addition to being charged with civil disobedience and trespassing, will be picked up. As you can see, there is a potential resisting arrest charge right there. You're seeing live right here on the Fox News channel of a protester who not only was willing to be arrested inside, but also started to have her civil disobedience by conducting a resisting arrest count by sitting down on 5th Avenue outside the street. So it's a very orderly process, actually. And at some points it was celebratory by some of these protesters, because when the arrestees, those who were arrested, were being walked out, the crowd here on the street were cheering and chanting. Some of the protesters who were not arrested and came out of the lobby were waving their hands in the air and smiling and cheering. So the sense here is a mixture of, yes, you have the anger and the outrage that has been simmering here for so long over what they see as the unjust custody of Mahmoud Khalil, but also you have a sense of celebration that their view is being broadcast around the country, and that their voice is being heard by their daring to come into Trump Tower and pick the president's home to stage their sit-in and their protest just now.
Yeah, as we've seen, Eric, with other previous protests from this group, they go into a facility or a building, occupy it and cause a ruckus. And then typically what we've seen in the past, and seems to be following the pattern here, is the police or the Capitol Police or whoever moves in and starts to disperse them. They go pretty peacefully, but they go out in what they believe is a celebration that they got their point across. A very small group there left in the lower lobby of Trump Tower there. The police will likely move them out, and let's hope that it remains peaceful as it has so far. Sandra?
All right, John, let's bring in retired NYPD Inspector Paul.
All right, so that is what's happening over New York. You keep trying to get me to take a flight to New York and all of this stuff, man. Every time that I think about going to New York, every time that there's a possibility of me going somewhere, including New York, I come across this, and it's almost like God is telling me, Anton, don't deal with that nonsense. New York, I'm not so sure about it. It don't seem safe. Yes, and our tax dollars are paying for this. It's stupid. It's just dumb, in my opinion. So shout out to everybody that's getting arrested. Okay, and then somebody says, because I'm going to read the super chat shortly, somebody said, Anton, you know they're getting paid to do this or whatever, so on and so forth. Okay, but when you sign up to protest and you do this, because I think that he should be deported and I think he should be sent back to wherever it is that he came from. When you sign up to be one of these paid protesters, let's assume that you really are down for the cause, but at the same time, you want to take advantage of it financially. Does that include getting bailed out? Does that include your record? Are you getting paid for your jail time? Are you getting paid for the record that you create for yourself when you get arrested? Who bailed me out? You know what I'm saying?